What I like about the survey, it shows you're positive, and this is based off positive or negative. Neutral really counts almost as negative because it doesn't really make it a positive score. So when you look at, my pay is clearly linked to my performance, 65% was positive, 23% was neutral, and then you have the remaining, 12% that were like, hey, this is not. And I think that's something that we really dive into. While also comparing it to the, previous year, other Next Star members, which is world class. We want to compare ourselves to world class, and then U.S. average. I mean, most of the time we're just kicking the U.S. average, but we don't want to be average. We're not in the business. We're in the business to reimagine. We're not in the business to be average.
Welcome to the Reimagining Home Services podcast. I'm Brady Jolly with my partner and COO, Scott Sharrock. We lead a rapidly growing plumbing, HVAC, electrical, and water cleanup business, and we're on a mission to run a $100 million company. Join us as we walk through the challenges, decisions, and lessons that come with that journey. Welcome back. This is an exciting one, man. We finally got our engagement survey results back. We've talked to our leadership team about the results. We've built a ton of action items, 10 action items to be exact, for this year, how we're going to continue to improve. And tomorrow we have our town hall.
Excited about it.
To tell our team and announce to our team all of our results. So by the time this podcast airs, our team will know the results of our survey. So, dude, ecstatic about the results. So take you through some history. As we talked about, we already had an episode on this, but we said we'd do another one on the results and then on the actions after these results. Mm-hmm. So from 2018, we were 56 out of 100 on our engagement score.
Tough.
Brutal. It hurt. Painful. I mean, it was just a stab in the gut. And there was some real, honest, good feedback on that one. And back then, I don't know the percentage that we were on participation, but it was lower. It was probably 50, 60, 70%, something like that. And then we gradually have creeped up. We've never went down, I don't believe, but it's it went to 63 and then 70 something. And then we hovered around 80 for a couple years, 83. Last year was a 90. Results came in 93 this year, 93 out of 100 on engagement. So how this survey works, it's completely anonymous. This year we had 100% participation, so every single person in the company took it. And it's good, bad, and ugly, 100 questions. So it ranks your engagement, employee engagement out of 100.
Yep.
That's the score we're talking about. We got a 93. So what we're going to do on today's podcast is just talk about, it's not necessarily about our results, but the outcome of it. We're going to be talking about our results and just the real world, how we went through this year, what came out of the offsite that we did, and then what this means to us, what's going to happen tomorrow at our town hall, how we're going to do that, and then how our leadership team is going to continue to focus on this throughout the year to be the core center point of our culture and tracking our culture and making sure that it's improving. So that's what we're doing on the podcast today, man. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll just say, you can think your culture is this or that, but until you measure it and you put scores by it, and you have really the open feedback form, which is the written forms, you really don't know. I think we always had a pulse of what we thought, and we set the bar high. I think coming into this year, coming off of a 90%, we were, nervous. We obviously want to improve. We want to, at minimum, maintain. So just it was electric getting the 93%.
So good.
The leadership team was excited. Employee experience, manager Molly, absolutely stoked. Obviously, we're stoked. And I'm excited to share with the team tomorrow at the town hall because it is something to celebrate, right? But also, there's things that we can still work on. So I think it's okay, let's continue this. Culture, employee experience is definitely one of those things. It's not one and done. It's not you just hit this and it stays forever. It's every single day matters. We have to make sure that we're continuously getting better. We're hearing the feedback that's even given with a 93. So I'm excited to talk about it on this episode, and we take it very serious, top to bottom, and it's a big part of who we are.
Yep, totally agree, man. Molly kind of button hooked us a little bit because
Yeah.
she just said, "Hey guys, I need to see in my office the engagement score surveys out." And how she was saying it, I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not going to be good.
Hit us with the okie dokie.
She did. And then
Sarah
she
loved
opened up
it.
the 93, and I mean, just hooting and hollering, hyped. It's so cool for her because this is like truly her scorecard of like how she's employee experience manager. So what more could you score yourself on than how the employee experience is? And I think we've talked about it before, but she's also bonused on this. And it's a big part of her job is assuring that this is, and it's not just her, it's everybody, but she's a great driver of it. So let's walk through some of these results, and then we'll talk about what we did, kind of our communication cadence, and really how to drive this home throughout the year. Like what we know is if you just look at this once a year and then you don't touch on it again until the engagement survey next year, you might as well not do it, right?
One thing we didn't mention before we dive in, this is a third-party survey.
Yeah.
So we don't actually get any of the reports. We can't manipulate any of the data. We can't exclude results. This is given to us by a professional. That's all they do. I just think that's important.
And one of the important things on when you're giving the survey, I think, you don't want to be trying to like sandbag your results.
Yeah.
Like, so I can't be like going to people and saying, "Hey, take your survey," and like I'm gonna watch you take it, or I'm gonna be right here. Or, like I don't even want to tell people.
Right. You don't want to affect it one way or the other. And I will say the timing, we were, pre-making excuses or whatever because we just launched the uniform policy. So we went company-wide, Band-Aid off. We're going to a new uniform at the exact same time this went
Brutal
out. So you're like, oh my gosh, like there's a little resistant. What's going to happen?
Yeah. Normally you launch uniforms, it's people hate it. Like people are not happy.
Pissed.
You know? Yeah. But it actually that went pretty good. That's a different topic, but I was nervous about this, dude, because the thing is the pushing, like when you're pushing the culture forward with like accountability and there's been a lot of performance pressure and like asking a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's not an easy place to work.
No.
But that's why I was a bit nervous about this.
Yeah.
Best year ever, coming off the high profits. It's like, dude, we are pushing.
Yep.
We are pushing. But it's really cool to see. I mean, it's because I think that there was some people who, like if you go back in the day of the crew that worked here, would not have liked that. The engagement survey would have been low of how we've been pushing, but it's the people that are here that it's like got to get the right people on the right bus that align with our goals. And I think that's a big part of this. So we talked about the 93% for the engagement, and that this is cool because it compares you to Nexstar average and US average. So that was like 3 points above last year, 13 points above Nexstar average, and 19 above the US average. So really happy with that. The other high level one that we look at is intent to stay. So intent to stay for more than 3 years. Oh man, that's just a massive number. That was 89%. So 89% of our employees intend to stay for more than 3 years. That was even more. That was 10% up from last year, 14% up from member average, and 20% up from the U.S. average. I mean, dude, that's the culture right there.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're getting people that want to work here for a long time, amazing. So then we did the bottom 10 and top 10. So let's kind of start talking about how we roll this out. Mm-hmm. So we found that it's really good to roll this out in front of the leadership team and take a lot of time with it, and really roll it out and give people time to dive into it before we talk to our whole team about it. And so we've kind of got this cadence down over the last few years that I think works good. So we do quarterly offsites as part of our communication rhythms. So we did one here locally about 10 minutes from our shop, and the whole focus was employee engagement. So that day started by us just showing the results and really intentionally walking through. We did a little game, had people guess what the score was and stuff. And then we just, celebrated a bit that we had a 93 because it's the people in that room that are driving that 93. And then we went over the top 10 scores. And those were great this year. We had several like right up around 100%. Was really happy with that. And we talk about on the top 10, like, these are the things that people love about our culture. These are the best things about our culture. How do we lean in and make sure we can't just turn and say, all right, let's not focus on those. Let's only focus on the bad. Because I think actually the top 10 are the ones that really drive that awesome over the top culture. So we talk about that. Like, hey, what do we need to lean into and keep doing that's making this good? Then we shift to the bottom 10, go down all the bottom 10. line by line, see where we stack up from last year is an important one on the bottom 10. So I thought one of the interesting things this year, it hasn't been like this every year, but of the 10 worst answers, only 2 were worse than last year. So and there's only 3 questions on the whole entire survey that were worse than last year. So that was a good sign. You know, it's like these are still in our bottom 10, but they are improving. So we had some discussion around like, is there things that we're doing to continue that we just need to continue improving on that? So we did that. We went through the comments. There's ways to separate this between field and office staff. So we looked at that data. That was telling. That was a really cool exercise. And then read the comments. In the afternoon, then we dove into like, let's get some action. And we put on the walls all 10 of our bottom 10 scores.
Yep.
We put on the walls top 10, just top 10, not all the top 10, just what's from the top 10. And then we put comments, a comment section. So there was 12 Post-its on the wall, one for each of the bottom 10, one for the top 10, and one for the comments. And we did a start, stop, continue with that.
Yep.
So we did a rapid fire, split into groups, 2 minutes at each Post-it note. What are we doing? What can we do to improve this? What can we start, stop, or continue doing to improve this metric, whether it was a bottom 10, a top 10, or a comment? And then after we did that, we did a wall exercise, group exercise, took some time. As a team, we compiled action items that we can take and work on throughout the year to drive home and improve, and continue to improve. This year, I think we learned a little bit, and we did only 10 action items, which was last year we came out with like 30 action items. It was just
too many.
It was too much.
You know, it's hard to do 30 things great.
So at first, when we built action items off of that start, stop, continue exercise, we ended up having like, I think we had 15 or 20, and we as a team kind of just crossed some out, combined some, and we got it down to 10. So before we go on to the next step of this, why don't you talk about your experience at the offsite and what did I miss?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hammered it. I think I'll double down on it, is just the importance of this to every manager. They really care about it. They were excited to get the results. They were excited to make action on it and continue the growth. I think that entire leadership team buy-in is critical for this. Like, it can't be us making excuses or this so-and-so filled this out, or, you know, this is the feedback we got. These are the things we have to do, and this is how we're going to do it. When we get these real specific action items, we put them into a tool called ClickUp. It's a task management software. We've found and loved it. We use it in both our Ops L10 and then our senior leadership Biz L10. So we're tracking these 10 action items, 12 action items for the entire year. And we're talking about them minimum monthly, most of the time weekly. We're following up on these. So it's a big impact on it. Makes our strategic priorities for the year come from this.
Yeah, I think you touched on this, but one of the things I was most proud of about this year's offsite, I didn't hear an excuse. I didn't hear one excuse. It's so easy. I mean, dude, we've done it. Like, just to be like, what? That's BS. Like, how could they think that? Mm-hmm. What do you mean communication isn't good? We communicate to everything. You know, like, it's so easy to have that response, but it was really cool because our team just leaned in. I think I don't know, maybe it'd be cool for some listeners just to like hear some of these like just to get a level set on what some of these questions are. Like a lot of the top 10, it's like my manager's actions show a commitment to safety. My manager treats me with respect. That's like one of my favorites. That's awesome. I understand the company values. That one was huge.
98%.
I believe in the company values, 98%. Companies taking action to be socially responsible. And senior leadership gives employees a clear picture of the direction of our company. Those are some of the things we scored well on. Some of the things we scored negatively on, the first 2 are related to pay. My pay is clearly linked to my performance. I'm paid fairly for the work that I do. We've found that on these surveys, generally pay is always on the bottom 10. A lot of those too, it's the lowest in Nexstar too, based on the Nexstar averages. A lot of things we look at is how do we compare to the Nexstar average? How do we compare on the U.S. average on that too? And it's certainly one that we need to address. We learned from our mistakes that this company was on there, which we thought was interesting. Senior leadership responds to feedback from employees was on there as a bottom. It was still 77% positive, but it was in the bottom. I receive meaningful recognition for when I do a good job. That was one we talked a lot about at the offsite. So there's more, but that's just an example.
What I like about the survey, it shows you're positive, and this is based off positive or negative. Neutral really counts almost as negative because it doesn't really make it a positive score. So when you look at, my pay is clearly linked to my performance, 65% was positive, 23% was neutral, and then you have the remaining, 12% that were like, hey, this is not. And I think that's something that we really dive into while also comparing it to the, previous year, other Next Star members, which is world class. We want to compare ourselves to the world class, and then U.S. average. I mean, most of the time we're just kicking the U.S. average, but we don't want to be average. We're not in the business. We're in the business to reimagine. We're not in the business to be average. So that's something that we like to see, but it's more or less, how did we do last year? How do we compare to other high-performing organizations?
Yeah, so you talked about the next steps. So after that, all those action items go into ClickUp, which is our tool to track tasks. We tag them separately. So we tag them with a tag that means like 2026 engagement survey action items. We use a lot of acronyms, so it's like ESAI 2026.
Too many acronyms.
Those pop up almost every week. And one of the things we changed this year that we're going to do that I'm excited about, we were closing those out. Like last year, we like I said, we had like 30 action items. I think we've closed them all out by the end of 2025. So we were doing them. It was great. Our team was involved in that, our leadership team, but we weren't announcing it to the team. Yeah, really. We would talk about it in town halls, and we would talk them in town halls. Hey guys,
couple Jolly journals.
Yeah, engagement survey. We did this. We did that. But we're now every time that we knock one out, we're going to post in Discord, our communication channel, and just say, hey guys, boom, great, thanks for the feedback. We went ahead and corrected this. This is what we did to do it. Yep. I'm looking forward to that one. But it is that ongoing cadence, like cadence. Like in November, we were still working on a couple action items from the previous March engagement survey. And I think that's okay. You're not going to get it all done at once. So that's kind of as a leadership team, we want to prioritize it. We want to assign tasks. We want to check up on tasks. Yep. We want whoever is the responsible party reporting on that to their team.
One of the questions on that, the question is, I believe that positive change will happen as a result of this survey. So we were up 5 points from last year. So a positive was 76%. We have 17 neutral. It's like we have the opportunity to really take that. We want that to be one of the highest numbers. Totally. One of the top 10 is that when I fill this out, I know something's going to happen. And right now, 76%, positive, 17% neutral. Okay, decent, but we can get better. And that's what's exciting because it adds more value to the survey, and then it creates that feedback loop, and we're always getting better.
Yep, totally agree. So now the next step is from that conversation, there were some things at the offsite, there were some things that we needed more info on. Like we were just not clear on what it could mean. Like one of the examples is it was about the
I receive meaningful recognition when I do my job. Yeah. And it was like, okay, we need to define meaningful so we can attack it. Because I think we're really great at verbalizing recognition. And what I mean by that, we have a recognition board inside of our Discord channel, and we are burning that thing up. That may not be the best way that everyone wants to be recognized, right? And we do the color code, so there's different personality styles that some people like public recognition, some people don't. Maybe it can feel repetitive or redundant. So excited to learn more about what our team members want from that.
Yeah, I think as we were reflecting on that and trying to determine action items, like as you're talking, I just looked at our recognition channel. This was kind of common feedback from our management team. It's like, man, I feel like we recognize a lot. Like I just counted, it's 10:32 right now as we're recording this, and we've had 11 recognitions so far today. Yeah. From various people in our company recognizing one of their peers already today. We'll probably end the day with 30 or 40 recognitions in one day. I think, like, if you'd ask our management team, I think most of us would say man, this is one we've done really good at. I think we've improved a ton on recognition, but we have to like, not get defensive, not make excuses.
Yeah,
Like
let's get better.
It was the feedback that maybe we could do better at meaningful recognition.
Yeah.
So that word meaningful, we're taking and we're putting that as part of our town hall tomorrow. I'm going to announce these. I'm going to announce all these. I'm going to go over the bottom 10, top 10. I'm going to go over some comments. And then we're going to ask for everyone's help and do a table group exercise. And one of the questions is, hey, how do you define meaningful recognition?
Yep.
And we have 4 questions like that we need to get their answers on, that we're going to take back to our L10s and talk about and say, hey, this is diving deeper. And then we'll revise our action items based on those. I'm really excited about the town hall. I think I'm excited because it's good. It's good responses. Yeah. It's a lot harder getting in front of
Yeah.
It's a lot harder getting in front. Like that 56, we did this. We showed them. But, dude, that sucked.
It's uncomfortable.
It's like, hey, yeah, we are not doing a good job, and you told us so. But it's just, I think that's why maybe our score, one of the reasons our scores have improved. Yeah. It's funny, though, when we get in front of the town hall and we do this exercise, we do surveys after every town hall. It's always the highest rated survey. Yeah, the engagement survey one. People love when we go over this, and they're always great comments like, thanks for being so transparent. Thanks for allowing us to be a part of it.
We have an exciting town hall tomorrow.
Dude, our town hall is going to be...
You couldn't have a more packed agenda, employee engagement, a couple other Easter eggs we can't talk about.
Employee engagement. Oh, it's out, dude. It's going to be out tomorrow. Employee engagement, new brand, rebrand gets announced to our whole company tomorrow, and a roofing acquisition.
Massive.
Acquisition of a new roofing company, Madewell. It's funny saying it, but by the time this comes out, it'll be out. Madewell Roofing, we are closing on today, so we're announcing that purchase tomorrow in the town hall. So, dude, our town hall's packed with good stuff. It's going to be fun. Oh,
one thing we did miss that I love this. This is like one of my favorite events. So whenever we get 100% participation, we throw this big party at the office, and it's a wing truck. So we have one of the guys we grew up with, Tommy, and he... Golly, man, this guy brings it. He's just loves on our employees. He's got the best sauce, the best wings.
Best chunky blue cheese.
You got to have a chunky blue cheese. Yep. I want mold on my blue cheese, just filthy. But that's one thing that we really celebrate this. Like, it has to be in front, has to be celebrated. I just... can't emphasize, and it's just fun. Like, it's fun to do this.
Yeah, dude. Molly, our employee engagements employee experience manager, it takes so much pride in getting that engagement. She's like hounding, like she's on Discord every day while this survey's open, saying like, "Hey guys, we got to get the wing truck. Don't we want the wing truck? Come on, help us get it." Like, we have 3 people who haven't responded, and the hard part is you don't know who hasn't responded because it's anonymous. So she's posting every day, like as people walk by, "Hey, have you done this survey? Have you done the survey? We got to get you on there. I want to get that wing truck." And then like it's a celebration when that wing truck comes. I would highly recommend to anybody to incentivize 100% participation.
Yeah. And you want the real results.
There's nothing to do with the score. Don't incentivize the score. Just incentivize the fact
Absolutely.
that they took it. So, so tomorrow after the town hall, we'll go back in the next L10 and we'll revise our action items, and then we'll just go from there. So this year, what we're committed to is we do a Jolly Journal every quarter. We're going to give updates on the action items in the Jolly Journal. That's just a newsletter that goes out to every employee to their house. It's mailed to their house. We're going to announce on Discord every time we close out.
What about the gift?
The gift. Oh, dude. Tomorrow at the town hall?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a nice little gift for everybody with our new brand, our new logo, sweet little new logo thing on the back, and it's a Comfort Colors tee. Comfort Colors, nice. I mean, just so comfortable.
Premium.
Not uniform approved.
Not yet. You can't wear it on ours, but you're going to be comfortable at the gym.
Yeah, we just got them. It's like a kind of a combo. It's like to celebrate the rebrand, and it was just like as a thank you for helping build this awesome culture. Like, we just got a 93. Let's celebrate it. I mean, it's all of our employees who have built that culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, got them a little gift. It's just, man, it's just a fun time of the year especially when the results are good. What else, man? What else to add on our process for employee engagement?
I don't know if there's anything specific that we haven't talked about. What I would double down is be organized. When you take this, it's a big period. Like it's a long process. So it's usually March to March every year. You got to really be organized of, what you're going to do, how you're going to do the communication, what action items each manager is working on. So I would offer that. We've gotten great results. We're going to get better results. We're going to keep working, but it came from a lot of hard work. We've talked about this too. One of my sayings that, one of the things that you just kind of pop up in your head and you say it all the time or hear it all the time in your own brain is, don't get bitter, get better. This is absolutely perfect application for it because you're vulnerable, right? I mean, like you'll specifically read this, and one of the things that, is senior leadership responds to feedback from employees. It was one of our bottom 10.
Yep.
So that's like, okay, we have to get better.
Yep. And
it could be easy to be defensive. It can be easy to be, a sour ass or make excuses. And it's like, that's not what this is for. This is for our people. Yeah. And you have to believe in that. And you got to be willing to put the work in to get it.
And the more you can show the team that you care about this, like that's what I love about our process is we spend a ton of time. I mean, that's an expensive day, dude. We're taking our whole executive team, leadership team out of the office. There's 11 people on the leadership team for a whole day to talk about this survey. Like that speaks volumes to our employees. And then we're taking our whole company for an hour. Everybody, 70 people for an hour to talk about this. And then we're taking time in L10s to talk about it almost every week. Yeah. Like, it's that seriousness that it brings that everybody's like, man, this means something to them. This means something to the leadership team. And that, I think, speaks volumes for our employees.
One of the things I think that you do an amazing job is you never shy away from sharing the bottom and the hard stuff. And I think that's really important. Don't trick yourself. They already know that.
Yeah.
They just scored yourself. They already know that.
Exactly.
So, like, shying away from the bottom 10 is lying to yourself because the employees are already telling you that. It's like, let's tell them exactly where we're at. That's important because it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm just, my color code's yellow. I like to have fun. I like to get excited. I like to just be the hype man. I like talking about the top 10. I want to talk about the top 10 more than the bottom 10, but it's also about getting better and continuously that growth. So if you haven't done this, or if you've done an employee engagement survey, share the bottom.
Just go.
Make it public, and you're going to have some self-accountability there. Like, you're going to say, okay, well, and then you know what? Next year, if your scores aren't better, you should have some ownership of that, right? Like, it's your responsibility. It's your responsibility as leaders to do that. So I just think it's a cool thing.
It's hard sometimes to stand up there and say, hey, guys, the worst response. My pay is clearly linked to my performance. That's the worst response. We're just going to say that. And here's some of the things we're doing to try to combat that, right?
Yep.
It's hard to stand up there and say that, but it's became easier. It's like gotten easier over the years because of the great feedback that we get from our employees after we do it. So
we have such a amazing employee base. It's really unique. It's just awesome to see.
Yep. Well, thanks for your part in it, man. It's great.
Absolutely.
Everybody listening, it is super helpful if you can subscribe, wherever you listen to the podcast, write a comment. We are always open to suggestions on podcast episodes for topics, so please write something in the comments. Thanks so much.
Thanks for tuning in this week's episode of Reimagining Home Services. We're super excited that we'll have 3 episodes every month come out. They're going to be on all your major platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and also leave a comment if there's a topic that you'd like us to cover.